My name is Gittha Larasathy.
And I'm Cintya Paramastri. This is all you need to know about Saudi Arabia and Qatar dispute. Welcome to the Persian Gulf, the richest Gulf in the world where oil-rich countries like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, Uni Arab Emirates, and Iran are located. Back on 2017, Qatar's three closest neighbors, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, and United Arab Emirates, denounced and cut ties with Qatar.
The main reason the neighbor countries are boycotting Qatar was because Qatar's relation with Iran, meddling in other countries' internal affairs, and also perceived support of terrorist organizations. These neighbor countries banned Qataris planes on their base, ships on their ports, and Saudi Arabia closed its land border with Qatar. So this makes the tension between the countries escalated.
Qatar's economy relies heavily on importing food, exporting oil and natural gas, and air travel. So what does this all mean and how is it impacting the country? This is what things used to look like. Qatar used to bring $1 billion worth of food and raw materials by land through its only border with Saudi Arabia. Its biggest imports, like cars and aircraft equipment, would be dropped off by cargo ships to Dubai and Abu Dhabi before being shipped to its own ports. Its oil and gas shipments would head through these same two ports to get to its clients in Japan, South Korea, India, China, and the United Arab Emirates as well. Its airline, Qatar Airways, is one of the biggest, and its airport connects flights heading all over the world. So what has changed? For one thing, it cannot bring in food from Saudi Arabia anymore, leaving a shortage of basics like water, sugar, meat, and vegetables. It's now getting some of it in from Jordan and receiving on large food flights from Turkey and Iran. Qatar says it is now looking as far as Brazil and Australia for regular food imports in the future. Its major exports have also taken a hit, with some international carriers refusing to send ships straight to its ports. Instead, it's now bypassing the boycott altogether and sending its oil and gas through ports in Oman. It's actually still sending natural gas to the United Arab Emirates despite the blockade, which could sway the Emirates into easing restrictions. Finally, with hundreds of daily flights to its neighboring countries now cancelled and restrictions imposed on where it can fly, Qatar is having to reroute all its flights through Iran and Oman, which making its flight to Africa, Europe, and South America much longer. Qatar's finance minister says the country has enough money in the bank to survive the diplomatic crisis. But how long can it last?
In the midst of this Gulf crisis, the Emir of Qatar has sent his congratulations to Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia and heir apparent to the House of Saud and the Saudi throne, even though Mr. Salman is seen as the architect behind this extraordinary diplomatic action to isolate Qatar with an air, land and sea blockade. That relationship is incredibly strained, but the relationship between the House of Saud and the 31-year-old Crown Prince and Donald Trump is absolutely the opposite. Trump and Salman shared a phone call in which Trump congratulated him on his appointment and also thanked him for his cooperation on terrorism. Both the Trump White House and the Saudi monarchy accuse Qatar of supporting terrorism. They say this is why they've taken this action. The talk out of the State Department in the United States, however, is very different to what's coming out of the White House. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson has said that he hopes Saudi Arabia and the UAE and those backing this campaign to isolate Qatar will very promptly, finally, release a list of grievances as to why they've taken this extraordinary action. And that may, of course, also finally mean that there will be a way to resolve this.
The effort made by Kuwait and US as mediators to solve the problem between Saudi Arabia and Qatar flopped, and instead,
in 2018, Saudi Arabia came up with an idea to dig up canal which located between Saudi Arabia border and Qatar border named Salwa Canal. So this means that Saudi Arabia is planning to slice off their ground border with Qatar. And most importantly, they think that this canal will be a direct shipping route from United Arab Emirates straight to Saudi Arabia and Bahrain because the kingdom wants to avoid Iran, which is the red zone there. But also, this future plan will give Qatar statement from the kingdom because we obviously cannot deny that behind all of this, there is a political reason involved.
the future of Saudi Arabia and Qatar diplomacy crisis is still unknown. Until today, efforts been made by many parties to no avail due to unnegotiable demands from Saudi Arabia. Let's just hope that both countries find the best resolution in negotiating the matter to end the Qataris' misery.